Hi guys, welcome back to another episode. I'm Andrea.
And I'm Morgan, and this is Opinionated Moms.
So we have a packed schedule for today because I feel like we want to talk about all three shows that are currently on. So let's get into headlines.
Okay, first of all, Kenya is under fire once again
Yeah.
from the public because on her YouTube channel, she's basically, ever since, she left and she did her tell-all about her reason for leaving Atlanta, she started talking about the housewives. So she basically started like her own type of podcast thing. And people
Hmm.
are pretty much saying that she is capitalizing off of the other women. She's done with the show. She shouldn't be allowed to talk about it anymore. I'm just not understanding that logic,
Whose
considering
logic? The public's logic or
the
her logic?
the public, like
Yeah.
why she shouldn't talk about it when she was a part of it for so long. And many women have podcasts who are talking about it. Tamra and Teddy, Crystal and Cynthia, like Erica's been on like I just don't understand the issue with that.
So I actually I agree with you. I think if she wants to have a podcast where she's giving behind the scenes, or if she's just talking about the women, she should do whatever she wants to do. Why
Yeah.
can't all the other women, Giselle and Robin, why can they have a podcast and talk about things, but Kenya can't? I don't think that's
Yeah.
fair. I feel
Yeah.
like if she wants to talk about whatever she wants to talk about, she should be able to. And I think it's just because I don't know, I feel like Kenya, they maybe hold her to a higher standard, or
Mhm.
I don't know. Like, I don't understand. I think if whatever she wants to say, she should be able to say it on her
Yeah.
platform.
It's weird. I don't
That
get
is
it.
weird. I don't like that.
It looks like Tamra was online and she put one of those question things on Instagram where you can like ask questions and she'll respond.
Hmm.
So one of the questions she answered, somebody put in the Gretchen story about you seems planted by producers. And Tamra said, no, the producers don't plant stories. This is the second time Gretchen has brought up this lie on camera. First time was at Vicky's birthday party years ago and it was cut out. So if this is the second time that she's bringing up this whole Tamara recording and singing thing, girl, like I feel like you need some new material. Um,
I
it's just
mean,
it's just weird.
Gretchen, I was excited to see what she was gonna do. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. And
No,
like,
I'm
it's
bored.
really weird when can't stand when confessionals, you're so brave and you have a lot to say, or when you're with the other girls and you can say how you feel about that person, but then to that person's face, you, you're scared, or you have to take a shot of like fireball right in front of Tamara. Like, that was weird. Like, that's some weak pussy shit to me. I'm like, no, like, if you're gonna like talk all this, you gotta say it to her
Gotta be able to
face.
back it up. Yeah, I
So
agree.
Gretchen's a flop, and yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm over it. Um, Adriana
Ay, ay, ay.
apparently spoke to a blogger. So
For
this blog,
Miami?
yeah.
Okay.
So I got this from the page Bitch of Bravo, but it
Okay.
doesn't say if this, because it has a screenshot of some messages, so it doesn't say if this blogger was the person talking to Adriana or if it's from someone else. But that's where I got it. So there's a picture of Julia and Martina, and it says Adriana confirms that Julia ditched Gertie at event because she wanted to cheat on her elderly wife Martina with Captain Sandy. Why they called her elderly, I don't know. That's so
What the
dramatic.
shade?
So the not text message, but the DM exchange is from Adriana. It said, the blogger said, did Adriana ditch Gertie because she wanted to hook up with Sandy while Martina wasn't there? Adriana said, good question. The blogger said, OMG, she totally did. Adriana said, indeed. Now that's wild. Whether
Is this
they're
supposed to
friends or
get brought
not.
up in reunion?
I hope that's what it is. There was another DM exchange between Marisol and the blogger. Marisol is responding to something the blogger said, and It says, I don't DM with blogs, but I can tell you this. Martina and Julia are very dear friends of Sandy and her wife. None of that is true. And the
Mm.
blogger said, so no lesbian orgy? And Marisol said, that's terrible. Don't say that. So
I
at least Marisol is taking up. I feel like Marisol generally tells the truth. When
don't think that.
okay. When something's absolutely not true, I feel like she generally is like, no, 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 that's
I
not.
mean, I don't think there's truth to that, if I'm being completely
Mhm.
honest. And seeing how unhinged Adriana has been, especially in the last two episodes, I don't believe it. Honestly, I
Yeah.
mean, Julia doesn't do it for me, like in general for the seat in this cast, but I don't think I think Adriana's just reaching. And I know we're gonna get into it about Miami in a little bit, but Adriana was just doing the most. And I feel
Yeah.
like sometimes when you're doing the most in these franchises, Lisa, it doesn't look good. And it's like sometimes like being able to control yourself and not have to, go off is a better look, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't agree to that, or I don't think that rumor is true.
Yeah. Okay, so last thing, since we're gonna get into Salt Lake, let's go ahead and clear up whatever confusion people may have about Lisa and her lawsuits. So this man, his name's Bart.
Okay.
Bart was a friend of Lisa's, and Lisa and John. Lisa essentially went to him and said, I need money for personal and business things.
Okay.
He said, no problem. He loaned her a total sum of $400,000 over the course of time. This started in 2010.
Okay.
So he was giving her money here and there, and he decided in order to keep track of the finances that he was giving to her, he was going to get her an Amex credit card. So it was his card, but in her name, so that he
Okay.
could keep track of it. She at some point asked him not to tell John, and he agreed because the reason she needed the money was because she made a mistake in the business and she didn't want him to know. So this man agreed. So over the course of time, he's giving her this money. So around 2018-ish, they got into a huge argument because she had not paid him back any of the money,
Lisa and Bart.
Lisa and Bart. And he essentially ended up suing her. He filed in 2024, the summer of 2024.
Mm.
The last time they had spoken about it would have been 2019, which would have kept the loan open. So, because of the statute of limitations in Utah, it's 4 years. He would have had to file by the end of 2023. So,
Hmm.
because he filed a couple months after that, technically her lawyers are arguing that she doesn't have to pay back any of this money now. So, that's what they're in court about. And all
Mm.
of this is in a text message. So, everything that I just said is true,
Hmm.
but because of that time frame, she doesn't have to pay it back. So what Bronwyn was saying in that big argument
Hmm.
was that was true that Lisa did borrow this money. She did say to hide it from her husband, and it's not we don't know if Lisa can't pay it back, if she's just refusing to pay it back. She very well she might have 400K just sitting in her bank account ready to be given to Bart. But poor Bart
Hmm.
is not getting his money back. So there's
So
that.
is that case dismissed? Like, did she win that,
It's
or is
still
that?
open, but that's just what his attorneys are or her attorneys are arguing against him, is that because of the statute of limitations, also because in the text message there was no clear set time frame of when she would pay the money back. They just agreed that she would pay him back. So I mean, it could be 3025 before
Hmm.
she legally had to give him the money back because there was no time frame. So
This is a lot of information. I was not ready for this headline. Hmm.
loophole on loophole, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this can tie us into recapping last week's episode of Salt Lake. I think it was a horrible episode for Lisa. I was actually quite disappointed and I love Lisa Barlow, but when I feel like when someone is acting out or if I don't agree with their behavior, I'm gonna call it out. And I Feel like she came in too hot. She went from 0 to 100 the entire episode and was like on edge and like was just like it's like if you're so I don't know, I felt like what are you so nervous about it coming out if you have nothing to hide? You know what I'm saying? Um and then it just there's certain comments that Lisa made when she was talking to Heather like I've done so much more than you guys, like I have so
Hmm.
much more to lose or something like that. I was like, Lisa, why would you
She
say
was
that?
like, I live very different lives from you guys. I do big things.
Clearly from everyone here who watches you, who live
Yeah.
a different life. And it's like for people like me and you, or for people like me who like do like her, I'm like, why you gotta say that? You know what I mean? Like I'm over here supporting you, and you're gonna say that. Um,
But
and that whole
that's what I've been seeing from day one. Like that Lisa doesn't surprise me.
well, it's
I'm
funny
just
because when I first
surprised.
started watching Salt Lake, I didn't like Lisa like that. She bothered me, but it was I was like inspired, and I liked the lifestyle she portrays, you know. And I just think that the show is getting to her head. I don't know. I
Mm.
feel like once the fans became obsessed with her, it's like she had to carry this persona and like just be over the top all the time.
I told you
Um,
she's Teresa because Teresa started out the same
ugh,
way. Teresa was the star. Everybody loved Teresa,
I
Teresa,
can't
Teresa,
hear that.
Teresa. And then when Melissa and Joe joined the show, it
Hmm.
like you kind of see her unravel and like her lies
Yeah.
kind of come to the surface and she just tries really hard to like, hold on to maintain this image that she's built of herself
Hmm.
and it's not good.
Yeah, and that lawsuit when you were explaining it, it's like the fact that she didn't tell her husband, I'm just kind of like, ooh, like that's a little weird and sketch. Makes me think like what other things do her and her husband not like really talk about? I'm not here to like I do like John and Lisa together and like look, no marriage is perfect, we all know that. But I sometimes just wish Lisa would be a little bit more vulnerable in like what happens in her real life, if that makes sense, because I feel like the audience would connect with her more and we would still love her. Just
No, we're
show
not
us.
allowed to know. We're not allowed to
I
know.
know, and
She's perfect.
I know. And look, don't get me wrong. Would I want to be airing out my dirty laundry on national TV? No, I
Mhm.
wouldn't. I wouldn't. I just this episode was so bad for her. I was so mortified. And I was as I was watching it, Morgan, I go, I don't want to recap with Morgan this week. I was like, I'm gonna be out sick. I enjoy my
Meanwhile,
hair.
I was like, I can't wait to talk about this
So
episode.
tell me your thoughts. Tell me your thoughts.
Well, I knew going into it that Bronwyn was right. I was on her side. I didn't understand it at all. I think the only people who were not on Bronwyn's side, even from when she brought it up at the camping trip, was Heather and Meredith. But really, I think if Heather hadn't been there, I think Meredith would have just let her talk. I don't think she would have said anything, um, if I'm being honest. But
Hmm.
yeah. So, but going into it, I was nervous because I was like, "Ooh, I don't know if Bronwyn's gonna be able to like handle herself," just because Lisa is so like loud, and I know she does go below the belt a lot of times. Um, and she, goes in with like a bunch of insults and everything, which is exactly what she did. She was just like, "This is a joke. You're unimportant. You're dismissed. I don't want to talk to you." Husband has gout, DICK, which I just thought was a really strong, first of all, that doesn't even medically make sense. And second of all, you're using intercourse between a married couple as an insult. Like most married couples get
That part.
intimate. So,
That part. Uh,
like what are you
When
not doing in your bedroom that is an
when
insult?
when Brian was like, yeah, you know what? Like I do like sucking deep. Yeah, I'm married. And I was like, Lisa, are you exposing yourself in your
Mhm.
own marriage and like intimacy? Like how yeah,
Mhm.
so he's an older man and that's her husband and she's gonna do whatever she wants to do with her husband. Like ah,
And I
but
think it's so weird that she brought up, she was like, "Yeah, well, you do this to your husband so that he'll pay your credit card bill. He's gonna pay it regardless because they're married." Like it's
I
obviously a joke. like when women say, "Oh, I gotta hide packages from my husband," stuff like that. Like it's clearly a joke. And
Yeah,
yeah, it's just disappointing that that's all she could come up with. Like,
I think yeah, it was honestly it was pretty embarrassing to watch, and I don't like when you have to insult people like, "Oh, well, you didn't go to college." And it's like, "Oh, you don't have an education." It's like, "Well, that's kind of rude because you have an education, but you're acting like you don't." And it's like
yeah.
so like, oof, you
But
know?
yeah, because college really doesn't matter at the end of the day, quite honestly. Um,
Yeah, but she kept saying she's like, you didn't go to school, like you don't have an
yeah, she's
education."
just
It's like,
trying to
"What?"
make her sound
It was
irrelevant
like,
and sound
stop,
stupid.
just stop. I feel like Lisa needed to have the last word, and she was gonna
Oh
say
yeah.
eggs, bacon, and like she was just trying to like be louder and like I was just like, please, please, just stop, leave, like
That's
leave.
her method every time. She's loud. She never stops talking. She'll just repeat herself over and over. You're only going to get out a couple of words. That's why sometimes watching her and like Angie go back and forth can be difficult because Angie's going to be more even toned. Like even when she's yelling, she's more even toned. She's taking a second to kind of get her thoughts together. You'll notice like you'll see Angie like stuttering a little bit. And
Hmm.
I don't think she's stupid or anything. I think she's just an intelligent person and she's trying to make sense of what's happening. And somebody like Lisa is coming at her just like throwing curveballs like left and right. It's like it doesn't logically make any sense. So that's why she's just like, what's happening? But I loved how Bronwyn was right there with her. Everything she said, she was on it. She had a response. She was like, "You're right. I didn't go to college. I don't need a college education to read the newspaper. You are correct. I do have sex with my husband. That is very correct. Are you going to pay these lawsuits or what?" Like, I loved it.
No, she she came ready. She was not scared, and she literally did really good right there in that moment. That's a good housewife right there where she can be direct, she could take it, she could read her. And I don't like Bronwyn because I do think she's got a hidden agenda, but I will say like she handled herself and she did great. Um and all the women did you see how all the sorry, my eyes like watering, so I keep doing that. But all the women I feel like were like around there and they're all just kind of like
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
smiling low key. And I was just like, Lisa, do you really think these women are your friends? Like,
I think they
because,
started off her friends, but I think Lisa has treated every single one of them the same way that Bronwyn has handled this lawsuit situation. And I think it's weird and I think it's disturbing. I thought it was weird last season that Lisa just randomly kind of turned on Bronwyn for no reason. Um, and even with the reunion, they were talking about the whole necklace thing. Did Bronwyn lie about it? Yes. But did Lisa need to be the one to like expose it and really go in on it, talking to the jeweler and everything? No, I think that's very strange. I would have expected that from like Heather, but I wouldn't have expected that from Lisa, not to go that far with it.
yeah,
They
well,
were supposed to be
if
friends.
I remember correctly, Bronwyn is the one who got upset that when Heather called out Bronwyn in front of all the girls, Bronwyn was like, why didn't Lisa like defend me like how I defended her right before in that first episode? And Lisa was like, wait, like, why am I being dragged into this? And then Lisa sometimes it's like no common sense here because then the next time there was an argument, she got upset that Bronwyn didn't defend her either because Bronwyn was like, "Well, you didn't defend me. I'm not going to defend you." And then that's when Lisa started changing towards her.
Yeah, because she
Um,
expects blind loyalty.
she does, and it's like if you want people to be good friends to you, you have to be able to be a good friend back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not ready for the season because I know it's going to be so bad for her and. Are the women going to find a way to like break through and like will Lisa be able to it's like I want them to be friends. They make great shows. So it's like let's find that breakthrough or is it going to be like this episode all season long and I can't take that
I don't
because
know. But we need to talk about Mary and her son because
oh
that
my
was
God.
I love that Mary is showing this. I think it's very important, just in general for people to see that these are, real
Hmm.
issues that people go through and like how it's able to be handled. And then I know we had talked about, I think last week or the week before, that her son did have a break-in charge, and robbery, breaking and entering
Hmm.
charge. So hopefully he's doing all right. I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit of context missing as well because you never see Robert
Hmm.
Sr.
Hmm.
and we don't see Robert Jr.'s wife.
Yeah,
So
that's
I kind of
true.
wish I knew a little bit more about that aspect. Like, where are they in it? I'm sure Mary's not alone in this situation. She has support, but it's just like I just kind of want to see like how that dynamic is. But I
Yeah.
appreciate the vulnerability.
I do too, honestly. And I feel like it takes a lot for a mother to let her child go on camera, not not knowing what they could potentially say. My heart did break for him when he said that, like, now that he's not doing that stuff, he still feels like alone, like he doesn't have any friends. And like my heart broke because it's like, wow, like you're trying to be better, but yet you still feel alone. So,
Because you
and
are
that's
alone, essentially,
And as a,
yeah.
yeah. And like Mary was like, I give it to her because I don't know how I would handle that situation if I'm being honest. But you could see it when she was like going like this with her hands or just like you could tell she was thinking of what she should say next. I don't know if it's because she was on camera. I don't know if it's because it's such a sensitive subject, but I was really happy, not happy because it was a really sad situation, but these are the real life situations that viewers connect with,
Hmm.
and she's inspiring other people. He is too, you know what I mean, by talking about this. So yeah, and I
Yeah.
hope he's doing much better.
Yeah, but it is a lonely situation. I mean, I did not anywhere near go through the same thing, but back in the day, I used to do a lot of gardening,
Hmm.
and there was like a whole friend base around that. People bond over it. It's the same way with like partying and drinking. And then when you stop doing those things, you realize these aren't actually my friends. They're just people that I see when I'm doing these activities. So then when you stop doing them and you look
Hmm.
around, you're like, where are like my friends? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that makes
Yeah.
complete sense. If all of his friends were doing drugs and then he stopped, now he has to make new friends.
Hmm.
So it's a process, I'm sure, but hopefully,
Yeah.
I
And
don't
I want to
know.
just touch on last thing for about Salt Lake because then we have to transition to Miami. What did you feel about when Heather was saying out loud how she couldn't wait for her the last one to go to
Mm,
college, so that she can now feel a little sense of relief of it? It hasn't been her doing it all for all these years, and
uh,
then
and then
had.
what the other women said. So as you know, I was a single mom for like 5-ish years.
Hmm.
Then I got married and I had my second one, and I've been solo parenting for the last year basically, because Nick works out of town most of the time. So if I had to continue this solo parenting with both of my children until my 3-year-old was graduating high school, girl, get out, go to boarding school. I can't take it. That's how I would probably feel. So I don't think there's anything wrong with anyone to say that, even if you were married and had a
Yep.
nanny and you were like, yeah,
Yeah.
my kids are leaving the nest, woohoo, like you did your job, they're taken care of. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As far as Heather and her actual feelings, there's nothing wrong with it. You can feel however you want to feel. I definitely think that Heather just wants to have a problem with Bronwyn because Bronwyn in that moment, I didn't misunderstand her. So even when they had their lunch and Bronwyn cleared it up, she said to me, she said the exact same thing that she said before, where she was like, I understand how you feel. I feel this way. Like she
Hmm.
validated what Heather said and then she added her opinion. And Heather
Hmm.
just decided to be angry about it. So I
I
don't
think I think what it is that because I don't think Bronwyn was trying to make her feel bad, but because she was saying like, "Oh, I feel like the complete opposite because I don't feel like I'm good enough as a mother and I don't want her to leave." It triggered Heather's insecurities and was like, "Why are you making me feel like a bad mom?" It's like, "Wait, no, she didn't say that."
know.
But I think they're just always going to agree to disagree. I didn't see it. I didn't see her being shady about it either. I think she was trying to connect with her, and Heather was just like, "No, like I didn't read this right." But that's always how it is between the two of them. And that lunch between the two of them was so awkward. I was like, "Ugh, like, let's just end this. Like, I don't want to see you. I don't feel like you guys want to actually be friends." Um,
That's what I'm
no
saying.
Salt Lake,
I think Heather just wants to have a problem with Bronwyn. Everything Bronwyn says, she has a problem with.
because Heather wants to be HBIC, and Bronwyn is that girl who is gonna come in and she's gonna give you a run for your money. And Heather's like, oh, I don't like that. Like that's
Yeah.
my spot. Like I'm that girl. Okay, Miami, that finale. Um, okay. First of all, that song should never be released. I love my dog. That song.
I don't know what that was.
Like, I just have to say that. What were your thoughts on the episode?
Um, well, first of all, I did not hear last week when Adriana's friend, the black woman, whose
Carol?
name, yeah, Carol. I did not hear when Adriana, until they showed in the flashback, when she looked at Kiki and she was like, "Oh, my friend is gonna talk to you, black girl to black girl." No, no. She should have got smacked for that. That's number
They
one.
didn't, I don't think they showed that in
Okay,
last
because
week's
I was like,
episode.
I didn't see that. I
Nope,
don't like
they didn't
that.
show that. That was like a flashback in this episode.
I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. Don't do that. That's number one. But I don't I just don't understand Adriana. I feel like she decided that the season is wrapping up and she did nothing all season, and so now she needed a moment. I don't know what's been going on behind the scenes that Julia is about to fill us in on at the reunion for it to
Mm-hmm.
make sense as to why her and Adriana have been beefing this badly.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't make any sense. I get they're like growing apart, and Julia said, like, oh, like Adriana's not fun anymore. And Adriana said Julia's hanging out with the cool girls, blah, blah, blah. I get that, but I don't feel like it needed to turn into what it has. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, and I agree. I agree all the way. I think Adriana feels that Julia is a user and that Julia used her to get onto the show and she social climbs her way to whatever. And Julia's like, no, I'm actually just kind to people and I like to have a good time. You're the one who is actually a really miserable person. You are controlling, manipulative, and you don't want others to succeed. And if I'm being honest, like I'm not on Julia's side, but I have been really turned off by Adriana this whole season. And I can kind of see where Julia's like, no, like you're not fun, like you're unhappy and you want to bring others down. And I feel like I saw that a little bit in the finale, and I don't like that. I don't like those kind of people, like they're not my vibe, you know? Um, what about, I just have to ask, when Marisol was at hosting her party, and then Gertie was a little rude to the vendor. I
She
feel
was
like
a lot rude.
people were not really happy to see that, and I was kind of taken back a little bit because I was like, Gertie, what are you doing? I was like, there's a way to like you could want things, but I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, and then I thought, is this why Julia invited Gertie, and then Gertie being, like her happy, bubbly, big personality self, maybe saw something in Gertie and was like, I don't want to be surrounded by her. And she's too coward to tell her and basically ignored her that whole weekend.
That's a strong possibility, because you don't really know someone until you travel with them. Like people become completely different. Um, so yeah, that's a strong possibility. I was disappointed in Gertie for acting like that because she of what she does. She's an event planner. She works with vendors all the time, so you would think that she would be a lot more polite. And there is just like a way to say things.
Hmm.
Um, And I feel like you can say whatever you want about Larsa, but I feel like in general, Larsa's really is the most down to earth and
I
like
agree.
most polite out of probably the whole group, honestly. Like if I were to have to go in public with someone, I think I would probably have the most fun
Mm-hmm.
time and the most least dramatic time with
With
Larsa.
Larsa. I agree. I actually
So,
agree. I actually quite enjoyed Larsa this whole season, and I mean her fights with Lisa did were a little extreme, a little petty, but nothing where like she's like, all right, let's just move on. And
right.
I did agree why she was upset with her best friend, by the way, like
Oh, me
unfollow my
too.
ex-boyfriend.
Also,
Like,
also at the finale party, the Christmas party, when Jody came in and he hugged Larsa, he would not have hugged me. Absolutely not. Me and Lisa could have made up. We could have been cool, but Jody doesn't exist to me. There will be
oh
no
my
double
God.
dates. I will
Oh
not be
God.
coming to your couples events. Like if you have like a big party and there's going to be like a bunch of people there, absolutely. If you're having a dinner party for six, don't invite me because I'm not speaking to that man. You are not going to
True.
blow up my phone with crazy text messages because your girlfriend is having an argument. That's your girlfriend, not your 5-year-old daughter on the playground. So
Yeah.
absolutely not. And I have been in that situation where I had a fight with a female friend and her husband sent me a whole bunch of crazy messages. That's going to be an absolute no for me.
Oh
Absolute
my
no.
God. Yeah.
Absolutely not. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. There would have been no hugs, no kisses,
No,
no how you doing, nothing.
I will say I think Jody was just trying to be a gentleman where he didn't want to like completely ignore her.
Okay, well, say hello, wave from afar. Hey, Larsa, how's it going? You know, while you're standing up
You're
and
so
she's sitting down. 2, 3. That is super disrespectful, especially because Larsa is single or was single at the time of the
funny.
fight. Do
Hmm.
not, don't, because I'm a whole different person, okay? Because when it happened to me, we had a different outcome, but I
Yeah.
don't
Well,
appreciate it.
yeah. No, I mean, hearing your perspective, I'm just kind of like, oh, okay. Like, I think I'm so used to like when we say hi, you give a hug. Even if you don't know that person, you're going to give a hug. And even if you might not be a fan of them, you give a hug. That's just, that's what we do.
I don't touch.
Um, but, huh?
I don't do touching.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you give a hug and you give a kiss, like on the cheek, right? But yeah, I feel like Larsa did handle herself really well.
Mhm.
And then yeah, I was just disappointed with Gertie's behavior. I don't think she meant it to be malicious. I think she was trying to be like cutesy and like funny,
Yeah, but it
but
was.
it was it was really bad. And I don't know if they're gonna bring it up at reunion, but and then yeah, I guess how Adriana ended, just don't even. Oh, how did you feel with Marisol admitting, or no, Kiki, Marisol
Marisol
admitted,
and Kiki talking about the ratchet wretched.
and it's like, what did you think of that whole situation?
Okay, so do I think it was a manipulation tactic on Marisol's part? I don't think it was a manipulation. I think it was an opportunity. I think
But
that
when she's like, "Hey, let me help you with this, but you gotta leave me for 2 years. You can't talk about me for 2 years."
I think she's probably sick of Adriana coming at her because
But why 2 years? That's interesting.
I don't know, probably just a number she came up with. Maybe she'll be off the show in 2 years. I don't know. But like
Okay.
so I don't know. I just feel like I
And
just
then what?
really feel like
Wait,
Marisol
but
doesn't want
wait,
to
and
fight.
then sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
Fine.
it just made if she's trying to help Adriana and she's like, "Yo, we just made peace. Don't bother me for 2 years. I won't come at you. You won't come at me." But then she's gonna go tell the girl who she used that word on what happened. I'm so
Because she
confused.
found out that after they made this deal, Adriana was still talking crap about her
Oh,
because
that's right. That's
what's
right.
the
That
new girl?
with
What's her name?
Stephanie.
Stephanie,
Stephanie.
thank you. When Stephanie told Marisol or told somebody all the stuff that Adriana said, so Adriana didn't live up to her end of the bargain. I really just think Marisol is just sick of arguing with Adriana.
I
It-
agree.
You could
I
tell
think she
even on the
is.
boat when she was talking about her bony knees, like you could just tell she's like, I don't want to fight with this person.
Yes, yes. I agree though. I do think Marisol was like, "Come on, let's just move past it." Also, though, I have heard that Marisol is actually getting her knees done because of that whole comment. Good for her, because honestly, if I mean,
I
like,
mean,
you
she
know what?
is very thin and old, and she does have bony knees. Like,
But you know what? Now she's gonna have good knees, and now Adriana can't come at her for her knees. So
Yeah,
like
I
she's
just
gonna
think
have to look.
Adriana's a walking contradiction. Like
She
she's been
really
calling
is,
Marisol old for like however many years, and
even
then
though she's the oldest.
the right as soon as somebody calls you old, you freak out, and I just think it's too much.
Yeah. It was an interesting finale. I'm excited for the reunion. Um, and just excited to see what because I feel like there's rumors that there's a shakeup for the cast shakeup. So I'm
Hmm.
curious to see what that's gonna look like. But that was the reunion. I think we need to wrap up because we actually are running out of time. We didn't get a chance to talk too much about OC, but that's okay. We'll do that for next week.
Yeah,
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, save, subscribe, leave a comment, share it with a friend. Let us know what you want us to talk about and let us know your thoughts.
and
And
follow us on all the things, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads, and make sure you guys comment down below if you disagree, if you agree, if you have something we didn't talk about. Make sure you put it in the comments because we want to discuss. All right.
yes.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.